Yeah, hey, welcome to Academy of Tone 181. Tonight we are doing smooth jazz guitar tones with Uli Brodersen. Yeah, it's a big pleasure to have you here for the second time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Thomas.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's always a pleasure because we have funny local background stories.
Yeah, that's true.
And yeah, which is always great to have weird things in the background, which I enjoy. Yeah, tonight I thought after all these boutique overdrive amps, it's time to cool down a little bit. And we have been in contact for a while, and you were mentioning that you have a new guitar, which is
true.
The biggest ever
Yeah, you're right.
jazz guitar.
It's a big archtop jazz guitar. I had some archtop jazz guitars in the past, but this one is the real thing, you know. It's a Super 400 from Gibson, and I got it from a very good friend who himself is a guitar player. Yeah, and I enjoy playing it. It's not so easy to play and to switch from my electric
Yeah.
to the big archtop, but it's getting better and better, and I'm getting used to the fat strings. And
Is this like flat wounds?
yeah,
Flat wounds, and what is it? Gauge 10s, 11s?
it's 12
12.
flat wounds, but
Okay.
these are Tomastics from Vienna.
Yeah.
It's a company from Vienna.
Yeah.
And yeah, they are pretty famous for making violin strings.
Sure.
And so they make also these jazz guitar strings. For example, George Benson is a big endorser from Tomastic strings, and he's playing 14s, by the way.
Wow.
Which is a lot thicker. But
Question: when he is playing 14th on his, I know the GB10, is the scale shorter or is this the same length? Do you know?
it's the GB10, the
GB10.
length of the scale is same as the Gibson ES 175.
175.
It's like a Les Paul.
Yeah.
And this
But
one is bigger.
It's bigger.
Yeah, it's a longer scale.
Yeah.
So you have a little more tension.
Yeah.
But the Tomastic strings, you can't compare. You can compare it to other brands. And let's say if you play 12s from Tomastic, you can compare to 11 from the Dario.
The Dario or
Yes,
whatever.
yes.
Yeah, the Dario.
So it's okay. So, but the top string at the moment is 11 from the Dario because I broke it.
Well, that happens.
Which is pretty rare that I break strings, but yeah.
It happens. It's what year is it? Is there anything special like 80s, 70s?
It's not
or
real vintage. It's from the 90s. I don't know the exact year,
but they are cool. For me, the vintage guy, you know, sometimes I go, yeah, you have to have the 1964 with a.
It's true. It's true, but you can't afford them.
Okay.
And
too rare, too expensive.
Yeah, even with this guitar, you have to care about it and you have to be careful. And you know, I won't leave it in the car, never. So if you go to the grocery, you take your big case. It's a bit crazy. I have to get used to it. You know, if you have a cheap solid body in the back of your car, I don't care. You know, but so yeah, but I'm getting used to it, and yeah, it's a pretty cool guitar. And so
from what it is, it's archtop, of course. It has two humbuckers, which are PAF style.
Yeah.
Well, because this is where it all came from.
It's true. I don't know the exact name. I think these are Super 57. It's the name.
Okay,
of these.
yeah,
but I don't know exactly.
I think it's something like a PAF style pickup, not especially wound or hotter or anything.
I don't think so.
I think it's just the classic stuff from what I learned. If somebody knows better, let us know in the comments. Yeah, so this guitar is a statement. I mean,
it's true. It took some years. I had some GB10s in the past, but I always had problems to play signature instruments from big artists because everyone compares your sound, and you know it's hard to get compared to, like, let's say Scofield or
Yeah.
Benson. So it makes no sense. They're so good. And
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's the hardest thing to be in the footsteps of such a big name,
Yeah.
being an artist yourself. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
if
that's
you are
true,
a
that's
hobbyist and try to be, you know, something, but if you make your own music and you create your own style, and then you play some other artist's signature guitar, it's like maybe a bit too close.
yeah. So, and this was a dream. I was
Yeah.
looking for an L5,
Yeah.
but this one is even bigger.
Yeah.
It's 18-inch. So I can play it because my arm is long enough,
Yeah.
but you know, it's
Other
not-
people never quite get it.
Yeah, you have to go to the gym because of your back.
Ah, yeah. Okay, I see. I see.
So I
see.
started to go to the gym to play this
Nice.
guitar. Yeah.
Nice. So, the other guitar that you have been here with is the Sewer, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Which
that's right.
just for fun, let me see it so we can show to the people that you are not just a super purist kind of guy, but we wanted to make the statement of that guitar, and we also wanted to listen to that real deal jazz amplifiers, which are Polytones.
Yeah, and this one is my main guitar, and yeah, it's pretty easy to play. I can get all the tones out of it, jazz tones, even funky and rock tones.
Yeah.
So it's pretty versatile, and I like the look of the Jazz Master style because it's in
It's not-
between.
And
you
it's
know?
not a strat like everybody
And
else.
The
and-
funny thing is,
Yeah.
if you play, let's say, sometimes I'm gigging, you know, to,
Whatever. Yeah.
let's say, dinner jazz somewhere.
Yeah.
And even with this guitar, people accept it as a jazz guitar. If you're sitting in a suit, you know, and with a tie, and you have this,
Well,
on your knee.
it's a gold, which,
Yeah, yeah.
which gives an extra class. I agree to that. It has style.
yeah, and on the other hand, you can get funky with it and play other
Yeah.
styles on it, and yeah, it stays in tune pretty well. So it's a working horse, I would say.
If I would show up at the dinner gig with this dirty guitar, they would probably don't accept me there on the table because it's like, you know, you better clean your guitar. You go home, and when you're fresh, and have come back, you know.
The clean guitar, yeah. But you have the gold top.
I have a gold top,
That's
of course.
pretty-
I
That's
can
pretty
be
cool.
I can be nice. I have actually 2 gold tops. This is my oops. Come on. Wait a minute. I'm just about to kill all my guitar collection here. Wait a minute.
You can use this one for dinner jazz.
This one works for dinner jazz. This is
Yeah,
one
I
with
think
mini
so.
humbuckers. Can you hold it for a
Yeah,
sec?
yeah, sure.
So, but I'll be right back. I show you my other gold top, which is in this case.
Nice, this one.
Sorry. So talking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is my favorite
Oh,
gold
it's,
top.
it's refinished, right?
This is refin. Yeah, this is my 68, and it's a nice refin with. It is 68, but it used to have mini humbuckers like that as well. But Klopman made me some 57 style humbuckers, and that's
Cool.
my, I would say, my best Les Paul in the house. But this was also cool. Wait a minute. Too many guitars.
Yeah, I like the mini humbuckers. You can play any style on it. Right?
Yeah. Mini humbuckers are actually underrated in a way because what I like about mini humbuckers is they are brighter in a way, and therefore they have a precision which is actually cool. Wait a minute. No, I just grabbed my cable here. Back from the 335. Let's see. I think I'm in a different tuning from the last episode. So don't play with me because it's like it's slower.
Okay.
So there's a certain twang to it.
Cool.
It's something nice on a Les Paul as well, but just to show you the difference with, oh man, need more guitar stands. With the humbuckers and then the 335. So this is anyway, that's that sound. Just to compare my Gibson guitars, which is not so not the case so often in this place here because I'm more the Strat guy. And this guitar is actually also really good. I love this. Okay, nice. Hey, so we heard a few Gibson guitars tonight, which is
It's a Gibson show.
yeah. You never know how this ends. You know,
Yeah.
we started with smooth jazz, and we're still doing smooth jazz, but on different guitars. Yeah, I like. I think every guitar has a character, and every guitar has a little flavor that inspires you.
Yeah, it's true.
At least that's how I think about guitars.
Yeah, if you take or if you play a guitar like the Super 400, it brings you somewhere,
Yeah.
takes you somewhere, and you play differently.
Yeah.
Then, and that's what I like about my Jazzmaster.
Yeah.
It's like more even, and I can put more energy in it. But this guitar
tells you
tells you
better
what
play
to
jazz
play.
and you don't play AC/DC on me.
Yeah, sometimes I try to break this rule
Yeah.
sometimes, and it can work.
Okay. You made another comment which I kind of enjoyed when we were talking over the phone the other day about how tones inspire you and about analog and digital gear.
Ah, yeah.
Okay, I mean, this is maybe there's no big context here, but I think the fact of being inspired by a tone and the instrument and whatever is all in the signal path to create that tone is a difference. And you told me that you made an experience about like analog amps and digital amps.
Yeah, that's true.
What was this?
So I have to say I like both.
Okay, yeah.
So I use plugins sometimes, and I use analog gear, old gear, and your amp.
Right.
So, but for me the difference is if I play, let's say, in a setting where I have to improvise and create music on the fly, then it's much easier for me to play with analog gear and tube amps because I get something back from the amp. So, but if I have to play, let's say, a show, I don't know, a musical or a theater show, whatever, and I play every evening, every night the same stuff, and maybe a little improvised solo, I can live with the digital stuff. It's perfect.
Right. I was thinking about the same thing after we talk about it a lot, because for me, it's like if you improvise, it's like flying. And if you have enough like wind under your wings, which is the tone that inspires you, it's so much more fun to sail. It takes you somewhere, and you don't have to do things to get somewhere. It's actually in the air. You can form it and you can decide it, and it helps you to be there. And if you play a show where you just play the parts in a certain way, you give so much energy into the band because it's already there by your playing, and the gear is not so important anymore.
It just has to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I play a 3-piece band, my rock anarchy, but actually we play like rock songs in the jazz style.
Yeah, you're
improvising the whole thing. It's
Yeah.
improvised. After 5 bars, I go crazy on anything. And the thing is, when the sound is great, and of course it's the gear, but it's sometimes also the room. When you play in a good room, it's like magic. You don't have to do much.
Yeah. But then on the other hand, if you play with in-ears, it's very cool to have a digital device like the XFX or something else. It's so easy.
And the other day I was at another YouTuber band, Kills, and we had the digital analog discussion as well, and we came up with a lot of testing on the latency, which is like this distance from the sound when it leaves a speaker. But if you're using in-ears, the speakers is in your ear, so there's no distance.
Yeah.
And therefore, latency is not a problem, because in the real world, we are listening to a speaker, and the speaker is not in your ear. The
You have the room, yes.
You have the room,
Yeah.
and it's like 2 or 3 meters away from you. That gives you a certain latency, which is cool. And this is how we react to the sound as humans. So if you have the speaker in your ear and you have a little latency, it's not a problem. The problem starts when the latency adds up with another latency.
Yeah, if you have different devices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be a digital device and a distant speaker, or it could be 2 digital devices, and then it's getting kind of messy. It's like, these days there's like active monitor speakers, and they have like digital frequency controlled crossovers. No? And then this is a latency. And then if you have a modular, and then it adds up, and if then you have a wireless, then it's the end of it.
Yeah, that's true. But if you play, for example, in a small setting, like a trio, then you need the speaker in the room, because the other musicians, they want your sound in the band. And even if your guitar signal can be heard over the drum mics,
It's okay.
it's okay, because it's the whole sound, the band, the whole band. So,
and I think this is, for me, it's a big discussion, because sometimes we, as the rock band, go on stage and the guy says, can you turn down the guitar? But if the match of the drum volume and the guitar volume is not correct, I cannot play, or it doesn't sound right. So you have to adjust to the other musicians to create that band sound. And that is determined by, in my case, the drummer. If the drummer plays very soft, I can adjust to the drummer. And everybody can adjust to it. But it doesn't make any sense if we have a heavy hitter and the guitar is like not...
You need more volume.
I need more volume. I have to be at the same volume to make the band work. Otherwise, it's a joke. It's like a loud drummer and a fuzzy guitar. Maybe the sound guy is happy because he can push it, but you feel like shit, and it's not connected. And the drummer maybe plays shit because he plays on his own and think he's a great, he's great, but it's not a band.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm sometimes pretty rude when somebody comes there and said, "Oh, you're too loud." I said, "Wait a minute, I play dynamic. I'm honest. I give you the full level, so you know this is the peak,
The maximum. Yeah.
that's the maximum." And then I play soft, and I only use the peak like twice in the show. I'm not doing the 100% peak all the show long. That's bullshit. But I don't want to fake it and say, okay, I make no noise, and then when the show goes on, everything is like twice as loud.
Yeah.
That's something. Wow, I can see
Some
tons
questions.
of questions and comments here. Jazz is cool music, yes. Cool jazz is even cooler jazz. When you are in the flow state, you are not even really conscious of the impros. If you connect with the instrument, amp, then I don't see the rest of the line, because Lucas, can you move the picture so I can read it? Pedal environment, etc. in the right way. Yeah, it's all about interaction.
Yeah.
For me, it's interaction with you and the instrument, but it's also you and the other musicians.
And if you grew up playing tube amps, it's hard to switch over to digital devices. So I have some students, and they sound pretty good with their Line
Modelers.
6 and modelers and stuff, and it's really good.
Yeah.
And they play inspired and everything, but they started playing with modelers, so they are used to it. And yeah, it's okay.
But if they play a real tube amp, it's too direct for them, I guess.
Maybe.
I mean, I believe, I put it in these words, there is more dynamic in the analog world, and it can be a beauty, but it can also be something you have to take care of. I mean, it's like there's some responsibility. What are you doing with what you got?
Yeah.
And you have to control it. And this is like... I can play super super soft, but I can hit it hard, and there's a ton of a different tone I get. And of course, I can use it, or I can be distracted with that. And well,
Yeah, that's the reason why I use the vintage channel, because if I pick soft, there's no gain at all. But if I pick a little harder, you can hear just a little bit. Not a lot, but it helps me.
What is the setting? Just it's kind of low. It's 2.5 or 3.
Yeah, the gain is pretty low.
Low,
And then the master of
the master
vintage
is
channel
is
is
6. Okay,
7, yeah, it
and
depends.
and the tone is like 4. Can I see it right? 4, 3, 2. Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I adjust it for
Just by ear.
for every room. Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to make photos with my phone
Yeah.
and try to always leave it the same, but I have to adjust it in
Of course.
every room.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
during the first 2 songs, I'm always
Changing
trying
a
to
bit,
change it,
yeah.
and then it stays there.
And that's kind of interesting, your journey, because when we first met, you were excited about the Iridium clean channel.
Yeah, because I was looking for a
Funky.
loud, clean amp.
Okay.
Because I played a Fender Twin for a few years, and then I switched to DV Mark amps, pretty loud and clean. And so I made everything with pedals, and the amp had to be loud, clean, no distortion at all. So that's the reason. And then I discovered your Iridium Edition, and it's not meant for jazz or funk or anything like that. But yeah, I enjoyed playing with the clean channel because it can be pretty loud and super clean. So there my journey started.
Okay, that was the
Yeah.
first. And then I remember you came and you had tons of pedals, and then I remember that I tried to kind of mimic your pedals in the channels of the Iridium, which kind of went somewhere. But this was like one journey. Like you started with a setup that you knew, clean headroom and pedals.
Yeah.
It's like Fender Twin replaced with the AMP1.
Yeah.
So level 1, still the pedals. Then next level, I try to make the low gain modes and try to get rid of some of the pedals, so less stress. Okay, but then what happened? You discovered the Mercury edition.
Yes, I tried the Mercury, and then I switched over. I don't know why exactly, but I think the clean channel gave me a little bit more feeling. Let's say feeling.
Yeah, okay.
So I switched over to the Mercury, and then because I had no pedalboard at the time, I was just bringing all the pedals, and so it was a big mess on the floor. And then because I was too lazy, I went to a gig and just brought the Mercury edition and my fat cap.
And that's it.
And no volume pedal and nothing.
No effects.
Nothing else, no effects. And then I started playing, and I did everything with the volume knob on the guitar, on the Jazz Master guitar, and I think I had the best sound ever. So I thought, okay, maybe I have to stop searching for pedals and just play the amp. So and now I'm thinking about building a little, very small pedalboard. Maybe with an Eventide in the loop of the AMP1. I'm not sure. There are so many effects. I tried the Stomp XL, which is pretty great, with a 4-cable method, but I think I lost some sound, some feeling. So
you went back for the guitar straight into the input, kind of.
Yes.
Interesting. We have a few clips. Do we have the clip with the pure AMP1, with a pure Mercury?
Yes.
Okay. Can we have? I've never listened to that, but
that's from a restaurant or somewhere.
Doesn't matter. Just have a quick listen. We don't have to listen too long.
No,
but
just a few seconds.
A few seconds, so we get a
I hope
feel.
the quality is good enough.
I hope so too. I haven't watched it. We will all be witnessing.
Yeah, true.
Okay. So that was the Mercury edition.
Vintage channel,
Vintage channel.
Mercury edition, fat cap.
Fat cap.
That's all, and it was just an iPhone recording, just for fun.
Yeah.
I just wanted
But
to
it
listen.
worked. And then you had sent me another thing where you kind of discovered the fat cap, because when you started, you had a nano cap, right?
Yeah, I had the nano cap, and then
you played a music store here, our local store 6 and 4.
Yeah, and the guy who works there, nice
Thierry.
guy, Thierry, from
A French guy.
France, yeah. And he said, okay, I bring you a fat cap. So he put it on the stage, and I just used the fat cap for the gig with some pedals, and it sounded so great. So then I switched to the fat cap. It's like
Let's watch that. I think we have a little clip of that one too.
Yeah, it was the first gig with this guitar.
Ah, okay.
By the way, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Hey,
So
yeah, exciting, exciting. So the fat cap was behind you next to the drummer?
yeah, no microphone, just the room sound.
The room sound, no?
Yeah.
And for me, what's so exciting, because I play the fat cap myself, I know BluGuitar is doing different cabinets and they're all great for some things, but I'm totally the fan of my fat cap. And I even prefer that to the twin cap. But what I like about the fat cap is it fills the room in such an even way.
Yeah.
It's for me, I put it on stage and it's like, it's not too beamy. It's not. It's very balanced in a way.
Yeah. If I play a Fender amps, I prefer to have them on the floor, because if you put them on a chair or on a stand, for my taste, the sound gets too
Thin.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but with the fat cap, it doesn't matter if it's on the floor.
It's closed.
I can put it somewhere else, and it's always.
For me,
fat
it
enough.
does matter. I still want it on the floor because I want the rock oomph.
Sure. Yeah. If you
But
play really loud and
Yeah.
rock, I would prefer the floor too.
yeah, but it's it makes so much sense from what I hear. And this
Yeah.
was again just an iPhone mic or whatever.
Yeah.
Cheap.
Heiko made the video. I don't know what he was using, but I think it was
he has
just
an iPhone. The
a
standard.
phone. Yeah,
I
standard
know,
iPhone.
yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, for the local guys, I will do a clinic at this store
Yeah.
on the 11th of November. Wait a minute, I don't know, around midday.
Okay.
At exactly the same store.
Yeah, it's a great store.
Yeah, and I'm supporting our local music store.
That's cool.
Because I love music stores, just for seeing other people, seeing other gear. And for me, it's also a great source. If there's anything new coming out, I just go there and try it out, you know. And it always has been like that for the
Yeah, I
last.
prefer that too.
Yeah. So if I know something specific that I want, sometimes I buy online. But in these days, I have everything.
Yeah, I think so.
It's my little music store here,
Yeah.
here behind me. Very cool. So, with the vintage channel, Are you playing in standard mode or are you on low gain mode? Do you care?
It's just a standard mode.
Standard mode. For me, this with a Stratocaster, this would be very thin.
Yeah.
But I think with such a jazz guitar, it's not a problem to go low with the gain like that.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah. Nice to hear that, because sometimes I overthink things and then I'm not sure if that works. If it sounds killer. I mean, you plug in, everything sounds just right, and I'm looking at this and I know technically, the treble bleed is pretty intense there, but the trick is what you reduce the bass that is too much, that is reduced here, you get from the post. Because you reduce some treble here. And that makes sense from a technological point of view. But anyway,
I
don't
just
worry.
dial it in by ear.
Yeah.
I don't care about the numbers.
Yeah. This is all good. This is
sometimes it's strange. In different rooms, the bass is nearly zero, and I have a lot of mids. But in a mix, I always put the mids down. I don't know why, but I like the smooth sound. So yeah.
Very cool. So let us see if we have any more comments here at the moment. I just need to some stuff to make room. Sound reminds me of Michael Schenker's guitar, huh? That's a different discussion, I guess. Hey guys, about talking Michael Schenker, I'm in contact with Uli John Roth, and he will be joining the Academy of Tone next week. So in 8 days, there's a lot of totally different noises to be heard on this channel. But that's also what I like, that we have different people with different stories, with different tones, with different approaches.
Yeah, that's cool to see different people using your stuff.
Yeah. And the stuff, what is happening with the pedals you have here? Because that's also interesting. Tone Hunter used to be a company
in Cologne. Yeah.
But they gave up, unfortunately.
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They made great amps and great pedal mods. And I bought these pedals from Ralph, that's the name, 20 years ago, I think, or 18 years ago.
Right.
And I still have them. This one is a DD5, and it's modded. I think he called it Landau mod, or I don't know. And this one too, the chorus, it's a Landau mod, and it's very cool. I still use them.
Can we hear that just for fun? Is it working with the Super 400?
Sometimes I use it for voicing. If I play a solo piece or an intro. A bit modulation going on.
Cool. And what is the DD5?
Yeah, sometimes I use it also for ambience. Oh, it's the wrong setting, I think.
Yeah, it's. DD5.
Yeah,
Not modded. I think that sounds warmer than mine.
Maybe.
Yeah. Another time we do the real nerdy A/B testing.
So, and I have these pedals, for
years.
More than 15 years, and I use them on every gig.
Cool. And what is happening with the exotic AC, RC? This is like two pedals in one.
Two pedals in one. I had the RC booster in front of my amps for years, and then a friend sold me this one, but I never used the AC side. But I think it sounds better than the original RC for my taste. So maybe this is not the right guitar for it, because I use it gets a little more grit. Sometimes I use here the bridge pickup, the sound is very honky. But it works.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. I was curious about the traditional jazz tone coming from the Polytone side. You know, like with this guitar, authentic old school combination would be this guitar.
This guitar, a big old Fender twin or
a Polytone.
A transistor Polytone amp. Yeah.
And we have two Polytones here. One is yours with a 15-inch speaker.
It's like a bass amp.
Actually, yeah. And it's quite interesting amp. We have to use the microphone because we have no other chance to get you the sound of the speaker across. The electronics itself is kind of pretty flat, but the character comes from the speaker.
Yeah.
So
I can plug in.
Yeah, plug in the Polytone, and
wait a second.
We call it cable salad.
Yes.
Okay, I plug you in. This was the high gain input.
Yeah.
And now I have to switch on that mic. Where's that mic? The mic. That's the mic. Sure. There is some reverb on the amp, which is so.
It's on the right side here.
Here. Yeah. Okay. Here's your reverb.
But I have to say, I never use the reverb from Polytone amps because they are known for good reverbs.
Okay.
So in the 90s and even in the 80s, you could see the jazz guitar players using a Polytone and maybe an Alesis microverb.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't live with the
built-in reverb
from the Polytone.
Yeah.
But it's a cool amp. If you play in a club and you put it on the floor, you can hear the guitar in every corner. Same level.
Yeah.
And
very balanced.
Yeah. And especially with the 15-inch speaker. It's pretty cool. And then if you play with double bass, it's very cool.
Okay, so just for fun, we have another Polytone here with a 12-inch, what is it, Altec speaker, sorry. High input again. And this one has only two controls, bass and treble. And then I put it to dark. And there's also reverb, but that reverb is a joke. Anyway, can you play something? Hello. Switch on. Back to the other one, and it's noisy too. So. I have to say I enjoy that 15-inch speaker a lot more.
Some people mix these Polytone amps with Fender amps.
Okay, that makes
George
sense.
Benson did that too.
Okay, so these were the good tones out of this amp. Now, guys, I want to show you something just to make a little fun of the whole thing. I hope nobody will kill me for doing that. But I have to show you from a amp designer point of view, certain things are not so good quality and still, and still being an original amp. Okay, yeah. I show you stuff that is not. So okay, anyway. Okay, clean sound, and I play. This reverb is still okay. It's a real.
It's a tube, yeah.
Yeah, spring. That's still kind of okay. Now I give you some overdrive, and that's. I mean, this is like, this is, I don't know even pedals that sound that bad. So, okay, I'm having my fun to bashing this overdrive. Happening like that, it doesn't clean up. It does. For me, the overdrive kind of nerd, everything is wrong. But it's okay. For me, it's enjoyable to have a little bash on that one. And
funny.
Yeah. Okay, and then we go for this one here, which is even more fun for me. Starting with that killer reverb.
Pretty noisy.
Yeah, okay, that's the reverb.
Wow.
Okay, and now I switch on the overdrive. Okay, I'm having fun. A little bit loud. Okay. That's a 12-inch speaker.
Not that
I could get the sound out of a 1-inch speaker. Okay, so that was my little bashing fun for tonight. Polytone comments, please. Deliver the real vintage jazz sound.
That's true,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and here's maybe back to reality. Certain amps are, or products or guitars or whatever, they are great for one thing, and this is what they do great. Yeah. And I mean, if you play, it's inspiring to play such an amp for jazz, but don't.
You can still use it for recording.
Sure, but okay, I have to mute the microphone. The thing is with such amps is, you told me, and when you put this in a jazz college, the overdrive is probably that bad that people that learn jazz never dare to play overdrive again.
At that time, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the evil, you know? We just have overdrive to show you the evil. Don't go there. Maybe that's also a concept.
I don't know if anybody used the overdrive from the Polytone in the past. Maybe.
If you did, write it in the comments, or if you know a record where it's on there.
Yeah, Santana-esque, someone is writing.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but Santana with his early tones are really, really great. But anyway, okay, so there's the thing about the balanced frequencies for the jazz sound. I think what are the troubles you can get into? It's like honkiness or too much bass, or what is the usual stuff you are dealing with?
I think most jazz guitar players tend to practice a lot at home.
Yeah.
And play at home, solo guitar or maybe with a looper, and then you might say, I want more bass, because you need the bass.
Yeah.
But then if you go back to your band rehearsals, the bass player will kill you, because you're always in the range of the bass player.
Yeah.
And even with the guitar like this, you have to be pretty careful in a band setting that you don't destroy the bass part.
Yeah.
Because if you play here, it's pretty low. And I don't know. Most bass players don't like it. So then I put the bass on 1 or even 0.
Yeah.
And then the mix is cool.
Yeah. Okay. So it's fully understandable. So you want to do the style with the bass notes as well, but you have to leave the room in the frequency range for the bass, and therefore to make sure that it's not too thick there.
And also, if you are recording in a recording setting, you have to be careful with the bass. There's a trick. It's a bit strange. Sometimes if I play in a trio setting and then you play live in a room, in a studio room, I put headphones on, but the headphones are not plugged in anywhere, because it's like a little damping, so the sound of the guitar is more mellow and it's easier to play. But then in the end you have enough headroom, enough highs and enough treble on the recording. For the recording, yes. And I got that from funk players. They tend to do this, to put a headphone not plugged in, not the closed ones, the open headphones, and you have a little damping, and then you dig in harder if you play funk guitar and you play tighter, because if you have too much treble, you try to
stay away from
careful,
careful,
and then it's not funky enough, it's not tight. So it's a good trick.
Well, our guest for next week, Uli John Roth, he also plays with cotton in his ears. And he's definitely
pretty loud.
He's pretty loud. Yeah, he's famous to be loud, but he's definitely present. And but I understand the concept, because you put out more energy if you have a filter, because then you go for it, and that energy is getting out there.
Yeah, sometimes I talk to students, or they send me some recordings, and they say, well, it's not groovy, or it's not inside the mix, and I tell them, put the guitar down, then you play better. If the guitar is too loud, I think you can't groove with the drums. It has to be the perfect blend.
Yeah. You have to feel the guitar in the right spot. Yeah. And to me, it's kind of a grip thing. Do I get kind of a grip? Do I have, like the hi-hat? If you, so my check need to be somewhere in sync with the hi-hat. So if I hear, so when I play like that stuff in the studio, I have probably the hi-hat very loud, and the guitar just behind the hi-hat. So I can kind of attach to it. Yeah. It's like, okay, there is the groove master, and I glue, it's like bam. And then the rest of the stuff is probably lower in the mix, just have to give me a good feel. Yeah. And then when the track is recorded, you can listen to the whole thing, and then you can feel it, how well it works with the rest of the stuff.
But some players, jazz players and also funk players, which is funny, they use Neumann microphones and they record the electric guitar
and the acoustic sound of the instrument. Yeah.
And then if you, let's say, I made a recording a few weeks ago, and then I used your amp and a microphone in front of the fat cap, and then I had the Neumann here
for the guitar,
and then I put just a little bit from the acoustic mic on top of the sound.
For extra clarity.
Yeah, and it's super cool. And then if you use effects like stereo reverbs for this acoustic sound and mix it to the amp sound, then you get the real sound. It's
good hint.
trick,
yeah. Of course, it makes sense because how can you pick up this thing with with pickups? A microphone picks up the vibration of the strings in another way, and maybe even more direct.
And this guitar, for example, is pretty loud if you play it without any amp.
This
pretty resonant.
Yeah. I love this guitar.
Yeah, it's cool guitar.
Yeah, there's that guitar has been recorded a lot in my session days, and it always worked. There's some guitars are just proven to be better than others because I have used them more than others.
And they work in the mix.
Yeah,
maybe.
this guitar is the good thing about that guitar is it's not as boomy as my Les Paul, but it's not as it sits in the mix so nicely
cool,
and so well. It's hard to describe, but it always worked, that guitar. Plug it in. And expressive, and I didn't change any sound here. I just play something.
Same with this guitar. When I played it for the first time, I played it without any amp.
Yeah.
And then it had.
Yeah, sounds so good.
Yeah. Really.
What is your recipe to get a Gibson in tune?
Good question. But it's easier with this guitar because it has the long neck. Every Gibson I bought in the past, I had problems with the G string.
Yeah,
and
me too.
I know everybody knows that.
I
But
just
if you play flat wounds on this guitar, you have flat wound strings. We talked about it, and the G string is a wound string. So it's much easier.
Yeah,
it's much easier to get it in tune. But you lose the G string for bending because it's not just maybe a little bend, but it's a traditional sound. So
yeah, of course, I like it.
You can see it here. G string, the wound one.
Okay. Well, we have somebody had a Polytone Baby Brute. The best jazz amp, small enough, loud enough to plug in jazz, but never used it. The overdrive, yes, of course. What's going on here? Wimpy Petrol, I guess a 7-string archtop is out. Yeah, I've ever seen this? No. An archtop with 7 strings?
Yeah.
Does it exist?
Yeah. There are a few players
that
use 7-string archtops.
What are they doing with this?
A lot of jazz guitar players play in duo situations.
Yeah.
And if you play walking bass,
then it helps.
Let's say like. You have an extra string.
Yeah, there's more bass. Yeah, there's more options on the low.
But I thought for myself, 6 strings are enough.
Sure.
Enough work. So.
I'm the same kind of 6-string guy because I'm not saying that 7-string is bad. It's what you make with it, what you make it. But for me,
there's an interesting question here.
Yeah,
Seitenschuft. There are a lot of records with Joe Pass just played his Gibson only with microphone. Yeah, true. If you want to learn something about jazz guitar, Joe Pass is
the man
definitely the man to listen to. And also his duos with Ella Fitzgerald, and his solo recordings and the work with Oscar Peterson.
Yeah, I just watched a clip. I think it was him. Some interviewer said, "What are you doing in this 251 situation when it comes to?" And this guy says, "I play jazz." It's like he didn't went for the theory. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, or maybe he was.
I think he knew pretty well what he was doing.
Yeah.
But I think he was not into modes.
Okay.
He was playing all the modes,
but
without the names.
Yeah.
Because in the end, it's all C major.
Of course. Yeah.
And it's a different kind of thinking, you know. But the thing is, he knew all the chord tones.
Mm-hmm.
And then I once had a lesson from a guy, and I asked him, what can I play with the chords? An old jazz guy, and he said, you can play everything.
Every note in the scale.
And every other note too. But you have to know where to end the phrase. So, and if you know all the chord tones, let's say if you have like major 7, and you play, you start somewhere, and you end on the major 7, no problem, you know. So you can play the chromatic scale if you know where to land on a...
Sure.
So I think that's his concept, and not calling all these scales, not naming all these scales.
I have no real experience in jazz, and my fake jazz stuff is sometimes I play notes that sound like the guy knows what he's doing, which are coming from chord tones and from inside the scale.
Yeah.
And then I go somewhere and then I end where it sounds good again.
Yeah.
And the in-between stuff sometimes is like mathematic.
If you end on the right beat and the right note, no problem.
Yeah.
Play like chromatic stuff.
Yeah.
And it's also good to leave the
root out.
The root out, maybe the fifth too, and just go for the 9 and the
extensional.
So if you, let's say, have C major 7 chord, it's cool to play an E minor arpeggio over it. So if you play
sure.
Instant jazz trick.
Sure, because C major 7 is like E minor with a C in the bass. Or it's like more, it's like...
you have all the options.
It's like C. So E minor would be, the root would be E, the minor third would be G. So E is already the major third.
And then you have the
fifth, yeah.
And then you have the
Major 7.
And then you have the 9.
Yeah. The cool jazz sound.
A minor, sure, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
So no bass player. Any other questions? If you have jazz questions, now is the time to ask somebody who actually knows more about it. Don't ask me. But hey, if you are cool, ask. I think we have another track. We might can when where are we? This was somewhere else.
Yeah, the track was, where was it?
I will find it. The Journey. Is this
I sent a song for my father.
What is this one? Let me...
This is the wrong one.
That's the wrong one. Okay, wait a minute. Then it's... Okay. Here we go. And here we go.
Yeah, good.
Okay. Backing track is on.
We just play.
Let's see what happens. Wait a minute, we have to pan the guitars a little bit again so everybody can. Okay. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I press play and we have fun. Yeah. So instant smooth jazz. Okay. What's going on in the chat, Helmut? Profile Productions. If you're in Germany, what's going on there? Out of stock. One control. People want to buy this.
Yeah.
Well, we will have some stock back in hopefully a week or two, a little bit. That's our new pedal. we had a big remote with 10 switches, and this gives you the access to all the internal features that cannot be accessed with the knobs here.
Yeah, maybe it's cool to have an extra master control.
This is possible with this.
Then you don't need the volume pedal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is like for your second master, and you can even, if you want to, combine this with a gain setting, so you can be whatever, louder and less gain, or more gain and less volume,
cool. Yeah.
and then make this one setting and bypass. And there's options with this little thing, but there will be more in the future. So bear with us. We are busy with everything. What year is this ES60? No, the 335. It's a 64, somebody told me. And I bought it without knowing it. I bought this like 25 years ago in a music shop in North Germany. It didn't have that nice scratch blade. This came on later to make it original again. It didn't came with a scratch blade, but the pickups were the original pickups. And somebody...
Yeah, a Bixby or what?
Yeah, that is a classic. But I bought it exactly like it is now, which is the conversion for a stop tail piece. Yeah, it's a great guitar. It's I'm happy that I bought all these guitars years ago when they were affordable. Yeah. I mean, today you go in the shop and you pay. The replica of this would cost 9,000 or something like this.
Yeah, at 6 and 4 they have two.
Yeah, and they are actually pretty good.
Pretty good guitars. Yeah.
I was impressed how good these guitars were.
Right out of the case. Super good.
Yeah. So I'm impressed about that. But the thing is, it's still a new guitar, and it shows how well things can be when they are new. But still, it's so much money for me.
Yeah, 9,000.
It's like, wow. It's like
a new car for me.
Yeah, for me too. My car costed, what was it, 12,000?
Oh, that's a lot. For my car, I paid 6.
Okay, yeah, economic. But my car had only 70,000 kilometers on it. How much did your car?
150,000.
See?
And now 420.
Okay, I do the same deal with my cars always. I buy cars used by grandpa or grandma.
Yeah, me too.
No, that have not much mileage on them, but are maybe an older model.
Yeah.
Not, and then I put all the mileage on them.
Yeah, me too.
It was always my concept, and in my life I had like 3 or 4 cars like that, and it was always a good deal, because I don't care if the car is the latest model or...
Me either. And I buy always the old Mercedes Taxi 220. It's super good. You can get all the parts very cheap.
Yeah, well...
And no extras.
What I bought for now we have a car discussion. I have a BMW 3 Series. Don't ask me. E16 or something like that. Somebody told me that's the most classic things, and I always go to my car repair guy and ask him if it's okay to buy that car, because
it's a good trick.
He tells you, if you for instance Volkswagen Golf. You have to, don't buy the latest one, buy the old one, like the 4 version or whatever. They never fail, it's they run forever.
Yeah.
And because the guys from the garage, they're repairing the cars, they know where the shit is. Yeah. With some models and some series or production runs, there's like tons of problems with this and here, and
same with guitars.
Yeah.
Some people say don't buy Strats from this era.
Well, I know, because when you have seen many of these, you can compare, and then you suddenly find out there are certain years or production runs that are simply better.
Yeah.
And there's a sweet spot in every manufacturing, even with AMP1s. We try to make the best consistency, but honestly, the latest ones these days are the best ones. Why? Because we learned from all the experience, and our manufacturer didn't cheat us or fucked us up, which happened in the very first production run of AMP1s. So when you get a new AMP1 these days,
it's the same sound.
it's the same sound.
That's very cool.
The tolerance here is 1%, maximum 5%. The biggest tolerance are the knobs, and this can be adjusted.
Yeah, and
But
if you do it by ear, it makes no difference.
it makes no difference. But I would sign for these amps. I would make a bet.
Yeah.
This amp will not have any trouble in the next 5 years.
That's also cool in terms of consistency.
Yeah,
Maybe if you have two of them, one in the car and one at home.
and it's the same. That's the thing. I can play any of my AMP1s out of the box, dial in my settings, and I'm home. It's not like in the old days when I was using Kettner with the tube amps. The tolerances in tubes are so high. I had magic amps. I mean, really amps that you plugged in and said, wow, this is what I always wanted. And it's like, please don't sell this amp because that's a good one, you know?
Good tubes.
Yeah, good tubes. And it was kind of a magic combination of all the tolerances in the tubes. And then the next one is like, okay, maybe not. So, and then I remember when I was the Japanese distribution 20 years ago, they were kind of the pickiest on the planet. I mean, the Germans can be picky, but the Japanese can be a pain in the ass. They look everything. It's like there's a stain, no good, bad karma. We want the best. German quality needs to be best. So, and there was a delivery that had a few tolerances in the optocouplers for the channel switching, and some of the channels from like clean to one of the other channels had a little plop noise. For me, bullshit.
No problem.
No problem.
Won't hear it.
No, never.
Yeah.
But the Japanese, oh, this is louder than this one. No, good. So, and I was checking the whole warehouse, unboxing 50 amps, selecting, and then bringing the ones that were not so good to the technician, and we fixed them. That's perfection. And I learned from that. So with AMP1, there is no click noise.
That's also cool, these buttons.
Switches.
These buttons are pretty quiet. If you play jazz in a let's say in a duo situation, or if you play with a singer,
it's not like
you don't want to hear the click, click, click.
Yeah, and also there's no plop noise because there's a special mute blend stuff going on. But anyway, that's all my internal bullshit. I'm into Jeeps also.
Oh, Jeep is cool too, yeah.
Yeah. What's going on here? I have a 68, 69 Bastard 335, a merge of two damaged guitars. Yeah. Hey, sometimes these, I call them parts casters, as a Stratocaster player.
Great guitars.
Great guitars. Yeah. There is nothing wrong about that. So, for me, it doesn't matter if it's all original, as long as it sounds and plays good.
I have a Strat from the 90s, and the neck is from Göldo.
Yeah, Göldo.
I put another neck on the Strat, and it's a super good Strat, super good, stays in tune, very good intonation.
Super. Yeah, I think, hey, we've done a lot on the topic, and I'm always happy to get other sounds in the studio. I know we have a lot of rock players, but I find it very important not to forget and maybe get even inspired for the guys that usually play their whatever, AC/DC, rock, blues kind of thing, to listen to different style of music and maybe thinking about, wait a minute, I should play a ninth once in a while because it's a cool note.
Yeah, it's a cool note. Yeah, and maybe it's cool for the viewers, for some viewers who play jazz
Yeah.
and never thought about trying
AMP1.
your amp.
Yeah.
Because you are more the
A rock guy.
and
Yeah.
maybe people think, oh, it's a rock amp, but it's a very versatile 3-channel, let's say 4-channel
Yeah.
thing.
And I have a few people using it, and they are jazz purists. I mean, there's Kyle Brown from the UK.
Yeah, I saw a video from him.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, he always tells me about whatever note separation and blah blah blah, whatever is important for him. But he is very, very happy with it, and for me it's all good. If somebody likes the amp or doesn't like the amp, it's okay. But we can learn what can be done with it, and that's the point. And also with your settings, and I mean, you play, we can listen, and this is what is being used, and that's well, I'm very thankful, because I would never come up with this combination. First, I don't have that guitar. Second, I don't know what to do with it. I'm not biased to the original tones. And so you have that kind of authentic jazz tone in your head already, and you know how to get there, and then you can kind of migrate that sound from your head.
Try to mimic it.
Yeah, and then you discover maybe, there's also something different, but it's cool, and this is maybe not so cool, and this is what inspires me.
Yeah.
Looking at other people using my amps and what they do with it, and that's super cool. And what makes me proud actually is another guy that plays something different from me and uses a fat cap, because I'm a big fan of that cabinet. It's like,
I told you I had the nano cap, which is great too, but I needed more headroom or more room, more sound in the room. And then I have a cabinet. It's an orange cabinet. It's open and it has 2 12 speakers. And it sounds really good. But it's very heavy. And then I tried at 6 and 4 the fat cap, and I said, okay, maybe I can change. It's pretty cool. And
super.
Always in the car, the fat cap.
And for me, that's kind of that you kind of like it too, gives me a better feeling, because I can recommend that cabinet, because I know so many people liking that cabinet in different kind of genres. It's like I can only speak for myself, but the more people, and there seems to be something good. In German, I call this the Grundsound quality, the basic sound quality, that is a general quality that works, which is the projection of a cabinet, the frequencies that's being used. It's not over specialized in a way, even though it has a character.
Maybe that's the reason why so many people play Fender amps in different styles and different settings, because it's everybody knows the sound. You can shape it with pedals or with no pedals. And you have this, what you call Grundsound.
Quality. It's a foundation you can refer to, you can rely to, and it works with different guitars. Like a Fender amp, you can play a Gibson or a Strat, and they do their thing. And other amps are maybe one-trick ponies in a way, which is also good, but it's a different thing. And anyway, I'm just happy about that. Hey guys, I think we're good for tonight. Thank you
for watching.
Thank you for watching, and thanks for joining in. One day we have Uli back, because there is tons more things we can talk. But next week we have another Uli. The loudest, the famous loud Uli. And for me, it was funny, because we had that. I had that phone call with Uli John Roth, and then I started to listen to his music again, and it was kind of a nice journey into the past. And then when you think back about 1970s, when he and the Scorpions were a totally different band than the Scorpions today. Exciting trip, and it will be all live. It will be improvised. He will come online from the UK, but yeah, we can chat with him and anything. And I'm kind of a little bit excited because of his big legacy and history and stuff like that. But it's yeah, exciting, and as exciting the jazz tones, the cool jazz tones. Hey, thanks so much for joining
Thomas.
in. And hey,
me.
we have you back. Cheers, guys.
Thanks for watching. Bye bye.
Bye bye.